internet, I'm here, I'm queer and full of social fear, and this is Cillian, and I know it's been a really long time since anyone has heard from me, so this is going to be a video explaining that, and yeah, so I guess I'll just jump straight into it. So if you haven't watched Necross's video about our system and how we have OSDD1B, I will link that in the description. You should probably go watch that before watching this one so that things make sense. A little bit of background surrounding me. I was the system host from about 2015 to early 2019. How I understand it, I was a split from Jessica, who was hosting before me, when she was realizing that things weren't adding up. She was starting to notice symptoms, she was starting to notice the splits in personality and having memory loss and stuff being moved around the house and people coming up to her and saying hi when she never remembered meeting them. All of that fun stuff that really makes you feel like you're insane. And how I understand it is Cillian, me, I split off from her during high school as a way to explain all of those symptoms. So I identify as transgender. When I was shown those symptoms and shown those things, I was able to kind of sweep them under the rug and be like, well, that's just, gender dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, it's just because I'm trans, I feel like this because of this. And that worked for a really long time until late 2018 we started seeing a therapist and we started going through stuff. After I split off, Jess kind of took a back seat and went a bit dormant. She was quite upset that this was happening, that I was taking over her life. Anyway, getting into what this video will be majorly focusing on, recently, and by recently I mean up to 6 or 7 months ago, we went through something that was really, really hard on us as a system, on me individually, and that kind of caused a lot of issues for us and me as a host, and it resulted in me taking a back seat and going into the inner world and going a bit dormant. And while I was in there, it was my first time ever actually getting to see our inner world. It was my first time getting to meet a lot of the people who I share a body with, like in person per se. That was really cool. I got to kind of explore the world that the people closest to me live in. To me, I was gone for about 3 years. That was my perception of it. I spent 3 years exploring this world, I don't know, we'll probably do a separate video on our inner world to just try to explain it because it is quite complicated and large. To me, I spent 3 years away. And then I bumped into Jess on the inner world. And we got talking, and our relationship has always been very, very strained. There's always been large feelings of distrust and anger and resentment because from her perspective, I kind of just took over and stole everything from her. We managed to work that out, and then we started feeling really, really weird and gross, and it was something that no one within our system had ever really done before, so we went looking for anyone who knew what was happening, and we just couldn't find anyone. We were pushed so far to the back of our head that we couldn't find any of our other personalities. There was no one there, it was just us, and that was really, really scary. Maybe we had gone too far in and we couldn't get back out anymore. And I hadn't said goodbye to any of my friends or families. I hadn't explained anything to anyone. So I was really worried that I was just going to leave and no one would know what happened. It turns out that me and Jess had actually started to integrate without either of us knowing or really wanting to do it. And it took a really, really long time for us to do that. It was probably a month out here where, like a month of real time that it took for us to integrate into one personality. So that's really the story of our system's first integration. So I am now an integration of Cillian and Jess, and I share both of their memories, but yet I'm a different person, but I can still remember being both of them. I can remember being Jess, and I can remember being Cillian, and I can remember feeling like two individual people. I can remember the feelings they had to each other. I can remember everything Jess did and everything Cillian did, even though it was happening at the same time, which is really, really trippy. And because I still identify with the name Cillian, I've come out and I've told people what happened, and my housemates and my friends and my family assume that I'm just Cillian and Jess is now just a part of me. But it's actually a lot more complicated than that, and a lot more confusing even for myself, because that's not really how integration works. I am not one or the other. I am not Cillian with bits of Jess, nor am I Jess with bits of Cillian. I am kind of like the love child of them both, but I am still both of them. Our system has always been really, really divided on whether integration was for us or something that we wanted to do. So when I kind of emerged and explained like, hey, this is what happened, neither of them really wanted to do it. Like, neither Jess nor old Cillian wanted to integrate. It wasn't something that they were planning on doing. A lot of our headmates were really, really upset. A lot of them felt betrayed and hurt. I know that Teddy and Hunter especially were really, really upset that they never got to say goodbye, because I know it might be hard for people with, a single personality to understand, but personalities are people. We are separate people. We have as much a right to be mourned as anyone else. We should have the right to say goodbye and to be missed. But with integration, it can be really, really hard and confusing, because I'm still here. I still remember everything that Jess and old Cillian did and thought and felt, but I can't be them. I can't say goodbye for them because I am not them. And so it can be really hard for other personalities who, not even just personalities, other people out here and in our head, it can be hard for them to come to grips with this sort of integration that kind of comes out of the blue, because it's hard to mourn someone when they're still kind of here. So I've had a lot of friends come forward and question, like, is it okay for them to be upset? Or would that insult me? Is it okay for them to hurt that, Cillian and Jess just went away and didn't tell them because I'm still here? And I've had to kind of tell them, like, no, it's okay. This tends to be like a pretty touchy subject for some people with dissociative disorders, because a lot of people can see integrating as a type of death in a way, because the person that you knew and you loved and you cared for isn't there anymore. Parts of them are still there, parts of them are in someone else. Like, I have parts of Cillian and parts of Jess, but they are no longer here. They are no longer alive in a sense. It can be really hard. It can be really, really hard watching the people that you still care about, because you have the memories of two people who cared about these people. It can be really hard watching them try to come to grips with what's happened. You can see them wanting to mourn, wanting to be upset, but also feeling guilt because they don't want to upset me. They don't want to invalidate my existence or my friendship with them. They don't want me to feel bad about existing. It feels weird being so open and honest and transparent with a bunch of people on the internet that I don't know. And this is officially my first ever video as an integration, so it just seems really, really weird to me. But I know that this kind of insight, this kind of personal anecdotal stories and stuff can really help not only other people who don't have dissociative disorders to understand what we're going through and understand our struggles, but also people who might have a dissociative disorder or might have something similar, who are struggling and going through stuff, who can't voice it, who don't know what words to use to explain the hurt they're going through. Maybe this type of video can help them and can help them learn how to speak out, how to explain to friends and family what's going on. Anyway, I am sorry for the dark turn in this video and how probably sad and dark this is. I hope in the future that we can do more uplifting videos about some of the cool stuff about being a multiplicity and having multiple people, sharing a life, sharing a body, but I just thought that this is probably an important video to make. If you guys really enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not. We can actually see who's watching our videos without subscribing, so eyes on all of you. And if you guys liked this kind of more serious approach, we might get Teddy and Necros and a few of the others to kind of say their thoughts on this subject, on this integration, just so you can see how sharing a head and a brain doesn't necessarily mean we all have the same perspectives on the way that we should heal and the way that we should go about becoming a stable human. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I'm sorry if I made any of you sad or kind of put some storm clouds into your otherwise sunshiny days, but make sure to keep your HP high and your insanity bar low, and we will see you in the next one.